You want to know who the Vikings have been meeting with at the Combine? Well, we're going to tell you. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. The Vikings have been busy. They've been meeting with a lot of players, and courtesy of WalterFootball.com, who we will absolutely have on the show this year again.
Yeah.
He gives us a list of players that the Vikings have been meeting with.
Yeah, and we're going to go over that thing with a fine-tooth comb here real soon. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and definitely subscribe. I mean, we already said it, but keep hitting that subscribe button. And we're closing in 800. And also join the Patreon, where I am going to post here very, very shortly my top 10 wants for pick 23. I put it together. It's recorded. You only get that exclusive content if you're a Patreon member.
Yes, and draft is coming up. We haven't really figured out the details yet, but we always do a tailgate party, live show, bring you guys on, a lot of giveaways, and Patreons get a little bit of extra love. So link in the description for that Patreon, and also hit that sub like Lupagus said. But let's just do this. Let's see who the Vikings have been meeting with. And just disclaimer, we know, just because they're meeting with them doesn't mean much. But last year, I was looking at some of the players they met with last year. A lot of quarterbacks. A lot of very good players. So
anybody they draft?
You know what? I didn't see anybody they actually drafted, but I didn't get the full list. Desmond Ridder was on it. Kenny Pickett was on. There were some very high-profile names, so they definitely do their work. And there's some high-profile names here, and I'm sure the list will grow. But here's who they got so far. So let's just start off from the top. Julius Brents, one of the guys who I have pretty much the biggest draft crush. Wow. It's turning into a full erection for him, to be honest.
What sucks about Brents is I think he worked his way up in the range where the Vikings could probably take him. He's not going to go round 1. I was hoping he'd be there round 3, but now I think he's definitely an early round 2 kind of a guy, mid-early round 2. I think he's worked himself out of Vikings range.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. 23 is definitely a little bit rich. I told Lupagus yesterday, I think, if they took him at 23, I wouldn't even be that upset. That's not a very smart comment, but I wouldn't be upset. I love this guy.
Told you relax.
I love him so much. So Julius Brents, I love that they're checking him out. Hey, maybe they trade back. Maybe he's an option. They trade back early round 2, but there's no way in hell he's making it to pick 88 or whatever we got.
No way. That one sticks out here at the first couple. Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. I do think he is an option at 23. What this guy can do with the ball in his hands after the catch, his yak yards will be insane in the NFL. He's so dangerous when he's got the ball in his hands. And put him with Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, KJ Osborne. That looks pretty damn nice.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, that is beautiful. He's not getting much love when it comes to the draft gurus out there as far as winners or losers at the Combine. He just kind of seems to be like, he did what he should have done, and maybe a little bit even underwhelmed a little bit. But Zay Flowers, good to see him. Bryce Ford Wheaton, a guy that's getting a lot of love, was just a cooking. So this is a guy I definitely need to look more into, where it looks like he could be a potential second, third round guy.
Well, let's talk about the 2 big quarterbacks here, Will Levis and then Anthony Richardson. Again, both probably out of the Vikings range, but the fact they're meeting with them, reportedly Kevin O'Connell loves Will Levis more than anything in the world. He made him hold a football or something. I don't know. But at least they're talking to these guys, doing their due diligence. So you never know what's going to happen in the draft. Maybe you get crazy and fall in love and you want to move up for somebody. But they got to know if one of these guys is that guy they want to build the future of the roster around. You got to meet with them.
Yeah, if you're not meeting with these guys with a team that has a quarterback that still only has 1 year left on his contract, you're nuts. So I love the fact they're meeting with these guys. Same with Richardson. Richardson, dude, is going to be a top 5 pick. They'd have to get absolutely crazy and trade up for him. So I love that meeting with quarterbacks. They did the same thing last year. Ringo, the cornerback, Joey Porter, the cornerback, makes complete sense. At this point, I think both of those guys will be gone, throwing Cam Smith there as well. So cornerback definitely hot and heavy.
Well, and let's talk too about the center there, John Michael Schmitz. Garrett Bradbury's future has not been secured yet in Minnesota. The fact they're talking to one of the top centers in the draft is also a plus. And then the 2 guys we've talked about before, but Tyjae Spears, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, East-West Shrine, and Senior Bowl standouts. We like them both, and the Vikings are talking to them. But it gets you kind of excited when these guys that we like, seeing the Vikings are meeting with them.
Yeah, absolutely. John Michael Schmitz. I could tell even before this, when you look at this guy, he looks like somebody that is in his mid-30s that should be doing your taxes. It's hilarious. He looks, I mean, he does not look like a guy that's just coming out of the draft. He looks like a grown man. And I can already tell he's much more mature than you or I.
No, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. But that's what, all good centers should look like that.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? I mean, we've seen centers in the past just fall longer than they should. I mean, they're on the board longer than they should be. So while it would be a minor miracle for him to be there at 88, I'm not completely canceling it out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a reach at 23, but do you trade back down to get him? I mean, a little bit like we're talking about with Zay Flowers or with who was there we're talking about?
I just think I just think the other centers are maybe going above him. And when you look at actual amount of centers drafted every year, that's why he falls. I mean, I think he's well worth a second round pick.
Well, and we'll see where all these guys grades end up. I mean, it may come down to personal preference with these center group because it's a pretty damn good center group from top to bottom.
Yeah, and that's what gets me excited. I love the fact there's some damn good centers in here that somebody's going to fall in our lap, hopefully. But looking at the position-wise, anything, any player, any specific position you're surprised they're not looking at?
I don't see many linebackers, inside linebackers. No Drew Sanders, no Trenton Simpson.
No defensive line.
Yeah, there's a couple. You got Dexter and then Foskey there. But, yeah, the linebacker spot to me is a little bit telling.
Yeah, I mean, Foskey's more of an edge guy, but Dexter, a guy that just, I mean, he's a monster, and he ran like top five D line as far as 40 times. So that's another guy whose stock is hot and heavy. But yeah, I would expect it a little bit, maybe another receiver or two. But again, you can't put too much into this.
No, I mean, you got time to meet with everybody, but I do like a lot of those names on that list. So a lot of guys we've already talked about and guys we think would be great. Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, remember when when Spielman was here? I mean, they would meet with the most random, weird, late round guys ever, and these ones get us excited. Whether they're a Viking or not, we will see, but it gets us excited.
Yeah, I think the big thing is to take away is when they have those the top 30 that come in, the guys they pick, those are the ones they tend to draft from. So let's watch when those names are released. That's gonna be even more important.
All right, let us know what you think about these names right here. Hit that sub button. Hit up the Patreon. $2 a month. That is it.
Yeah,
and
don't forget.
We'll be back hot and heavy all week.
My top 10 at pick 23 will be revealed.
Check it out. I guarantee I could probably name about 8 of them.
Wow. 8 of them. All right. Well, I got a fact here from our good friend Ellis Greger. Let me know this. He said Joe Webb is the all-time leader in quarterback tackles.